the story is it's actually part of the Master's Journey program for, I know John and the adults and then are going through the Master's Journey program right now. There's two people, we'll say young ladies, and they go to the store. And they both buy the same packet of tomato seeds, right? And they both go home and they're both going to plant these tomato seeds, right? Well, one lady, she goes and she has a really kind of bad attitude about this planting thing. You know, she's like, yeah, you know, they probably aren't going to grow. It's probably not going to work. So she goes in her backyard, she kicks over some soil and she throws the seeds down, she covers it back up, you know, and throws a little bit of water on there and goes inside and plops on the couch and watches TV and bad attitude. It's not going to grow. Well, the other young lady, right, she went out there and she looks at gardening as a gift. She looks at a way of connecting with nature, right? She looks at it as a way of growing food for her family, right? And so what happens is she goes out there and she takes her time. She gets down on her hands and knees and works with the soil and tills the soil, right? She gets it up so it's got really good nutrients and stuff there for the growth. And she plants those seeds, she puts them in the right depth, and she reads up on it, right? And she waters it really, really nice with care. Right? Does that make sense?
Yes, sir.
Right? And so what happens is these two ladies, one had a really bad attitude, and one had a really good attitude. Everybody understand?
Yes, sir.
Right? The lady with the bad attitude, you know what she did is a week later she came back out, she looked out there, nothing growing. Yeah, you know, she's like, I probably got scammed. This probably isn't going to work. These seeds aren't going to grow. I got bad seeds. So she throws a little bit of water on it, you know, just in case, and goes back inside, and that's it. She's pretty much given up on her seeds because they didn't grow yet. Well, the other young lady who got the same exact packet of seeds, she goes out there with a great attitude, and a week later, she waters her plant, right? Or excuse me, she's watering it daily, right? And a week later, she goes out there, and there's a little sprout popped up out of the ground, right? Because she took her time with her training, right? And so, you know what? A week goes by, and the first lady with a bad attitude, she comes out there again, and you know, she's starting to get a little sprout there, but it's kind of scraggly looking. You know, it's kind of dried up. It's not very good looking, right? Because she didn't really take care of it. You know, she didn't water as much as she could have. And the other lady with a great attitude, she comes out there and she's got a plant that's starting to grow really, really big. And it's healthy looking and it's green, right? And it's really starting to grow. And you know what? She's even got little bitty tomatoes starting to come in that thing. Right? Pretty cool. Another week goes by. And the lady with the bad attitude, she comes out there and she sees this plant that's about this big now. So she grew something, but you know what? The tomatoes on there are kind of scraggly looking. They're kind of like wrinkled up and not something, they're kind of rotten, right? You probably wouldn't want to eat those tomatoes, right? Does that make sense? Right? But you know what? The lady with the great attitude, she goes out there another week later and she comes out to this great, big, beautiful tomato plant because she cared for it and she watered it and she had a great attitude. And you know what she got to do is pick a red, ripe tomato off of there, and she got to eat it that night. And she got to enjoy her all of her hard work, all right, and her dedication and her patience. All right, does that make sense? All right, so really, really important, guys, is that you know if you have a bad attitude towards your training, if you look at your martial arts training, if you have a kick that you're learning, and you're like, you know what, I can't do it, you have a bad attitude, you're gonna make it really hard for yourself to learn that. Does that make sense?
Yes, sir.
All right, but if you go at it with a great attitude, right, you know what? I can't do it yet, but I'm going to try my hardest. I'm going to give everything I have, every single class, I'm going to try my hardest, and I will get this kick down through practice and through training